Welcome to Nosleep Radio, the channel that brings you chilling tales of horror and the supernatural. We hope our stories give you moments of relaxation and help you stay focused as you work or unwind.
Today's episode features a story submitted by one of our listeners. The story is titled, The Mysterious Dormitory, number 13.
Alex stood in front of dormitory number 13, his hand gripping an old suitcase. The building before him looked ancient, its walls covered in moss, and its windows dark like hollow, deep eye sockets. The late afternoon light cast long, gloomy shadows, sending a chill down Alex's spine. When he stepped into the main hall, Alex immediately felt a heavy, oppressive air. Wind hissed through the old door cracks, producing strange sounds that made him think of whispering secrets. He thought he heard footsteps echoing from afar, but when he looked around, there was no one. "Hey, you must be Alex, right?" a voice called from behind. Alex turned and saw a boy about his age, black hair, bright eyes, wearing a gray jacket. "Yeah, I'm Alex. And you are?" Alex asked, trying to stay calm. "I'm Jake, a second-year student. I live here too. I'll show you your room. The dorm's a bit old, but you'll get used to it," Jake said with a light smile, though his expression did little to reassure Alex. Jake led Alex down long, dark corridors, lit only by dim ceiling lamps. The smell of damp mildew and something faintly metallic in the air made Alex fight the urge to be sick. "You know, there are a lot of rumors about this building. People say it's haunted," Jake said unexpectedly as they stopped in front of room 13. "Haunted? What do you mean?" Alex asked, curiosity hiding his worry. He glanced around as if afraid someone else might overhear. "About 10 years ago, there was a serial killer here. He murdered a lot of students before disappearing without a trace. People say he's still in this building or that his spirit haunts it." Alex felt his skin crawl. "Come on, you're trying to freak me out. I don't believe in ghosts." Jake only chuckled. "Think of it as a story to pass the time, but if you hear strange noises at night, don't freak out too much." After Jake left, Alex began unpacking. The room was small and simple: a bed, a study desk, and a wardrobe. On the wall were bizarre drawings, figures screaming, eyes blazing red, staring straight ahead. He wondered if past residents had drawn them. That night, as Alex lay down, he heard strange footsteps in the hallway. Heavy, deliberate steps, slow as if someone were trying to be quiet but failing to hide their presence. Alex strained to listen, but the footsteps faded. He tried to sleep, but his mind wouldn't stop turning over Jake's stories. The serial killer, the weird drawings, the footsteps. He wondered if he'd walked into a place full of secrets and danger. The next morning, Alex awoke to find a new drawing on the wall. A man with flaming red eyes clutching a box cutter cross. The man stared at Alex as if trying to say something. His heart raced. He couldn't understand how the drawing had appeared or who'd drawn it during the night. He decided to investigate the dorm and its hidden secrets, but the more he looked, the more he realized he'd stepped into a nightmare with no easy escape. The footsteps, the strange drawings, and the serial killer story were only the beginning of the horrors Alex would face. Before he could settle into his new life, a terrible event occurred. Early one morning, Tom, a roommate, was found dead in the bathroom. Police arrived quickly, and after a brief investigation, ruled it a suicide. Tom had supposedly cut his wrists with a box cutter, but Alex refused to accept that conclusion. Tom had always been cheerful. There was no sign of despair or reason to take his own life. Worse, the scene Alex saw made the verdict impossible to swallow. Blood splattered everywhere, and on the mirror, a message had been written in blood. "Don't believe what they say." Alex decided to investigate Tom's death. He started searching Tom's room for clues and found a journal in which Tom had recorded strange occurrences around the dorm. Odd noises at night, dark shapes sliding past windows, and horrifying dreams about a masked killer. On one page, Tom had written, "I know someone is following me. He wears a white mask and holds a box cutter. I don't know who he is, but I feel his presence every night." Alex shivered as he read those lines. He remembered sleepless nights, eerie footsteps, and the bizarre wall drawings. Maybe Tom had been right. Someone or something was haunting Dorm 13. That night, Alex couldn't sleep. He lay with his eyes wide open, listening to every sound. Suddenly, he heard slow footsteps in the corridor, getting closer, as if someone was walking toward his door. Alex held his breath, his heart hammered. The door creaked open on its own, but no one stood there. He peered down the hallway and saw only darkness and dim lights. He turned back to bed, trying to calm himself, but in his mind, the image of a masked killer clutching a box cutter wouldn't leave. Terrifying dreams began to plague him nightly. In them, Alex was chased by a figure wearing a white mask and wielding a box cutter. The figure grinned madly. Its red eyes glowed in the dark. Alex ran but could not escape. He woke drenched in sweat, his heart pounding. The dreams and strange events drove Alex toward panic. He knew he had to uncover the truth about Tom's death and what haunted the dorm. But the more he searched, the more he suspected the truth might be worse than he imagined. Determined to find answers, Alex spent days in the dormitory library digging through records for any history of the old building. After hours of searching, he discovered an old diary concealed in a dusty corner of a shelf. The diary was worn, its pages yellowed, yet the handwriting remained legible. It belonged to a student who had lived in the dorm many years ago. The early pages described everyday life, friends, studies, but then the entries shifted into chilling accounts of murders at the dorm. Page after page cataloged killings in gruesome detail, each victim recorded with haunting descriptions.
One entry made Alex's blood run cold. October 23rd, 1975. Another murder. A female student was killed in her room. The killer left a message in blood on the wall. He will not stop. The police found no leads. Fear spreads through the dorm. Alex read on and found references to a serial killer who once prowled Dorm 13. The killer was described as a man wearing a white mask and often carrying a box cutter. He had murdered numerous students, leaving bloody messages and strange signs at the scenes. Another entry stated, November 15th, 1975. Police detained a suspect but lacked evidence for a conviction. Murders continued, and the killer's curse seems to linger. Rumor has it he performed dark rituals to preserve his presence, even after death. A chill ran through Alex as he read. He realized that what he and Tom had experienced might be connected to that curse. He remembered the terrifying dreams, the footsteps, and the masked figure with the box cutter. He resolved to learn more about the killer and the supposed curse. Alex flipped to the final pages of the diary, where the writer had left notes about how to resist the curse. Those pages had been torn away, leaving only a fragment. If anyone reads this, know that there is only one way to end the curse. Find... The sentence stopped abruptly. Alex couldn't read anymore. He knew he had to continue investigating and find a way to break the curse before it was too late. But he also understood the road ahead would be fraught with danger and dread. After reading the diary, Alex couldn't clear his mind of thoughts about the killer and that terrible curse. Dorm 13 felt heavier, as if a veil of fear covered everything. At night, as the lights dimmed and the halls went quiet, Alex began to see wandering apparitions. Dark shapes flickered in and out along the corridors, slipping into rooms. Soft footfalls like sighs echoed in the darkness. One night when Alex left his room to get water, he suddenly saw a shadowy figure at the end of the hall, a vague, silent silhouette searching for something. Alex knew he could no longer avoid his fear. He decided to confront the strange phenomena and attempt to communicate with the trapped spirits to discover the truth. He turned to a classmate versed in the supernatural, Lisa, who had helped him with spiritual matters before. Lisa agreed to help, and they began planning to contact the restless souls. They prepared a simple seance with white candles, incense, and a talking board. That night, they gathered in an empty room of the dorm where a gruesome murder had occurred. Lisa whispered, "Let's call them and ask about the killer. Hopefully they'll give us clues." Alex and Lisa sat around the board, closed their eyes, and concentrated. At first, nothing happened, but then a cold gust made the candles flicker. The talking board trembled, and a weak voice murmured from afar, "We are trapped here. He won't let us go."
Alex asked, "Who's here? Please tell us about the killer. Why did he kill?" The voice became clearer. "He is evil. He performed dark rituals to maintain his presence. He wants our souls to serve him forever." Lisa asked, "How can we end this curse?" The reply came as disconnected whispers. Find the curse." The seance ended abruptly when a ghostly apparition appeared before Alex and Lisa, its face twisted in horror and pain. The spirit pointed toward a window where a strange symbol had been carved into the glass. Alex and Lisa realized they had found a crucial clue. The symbol on the window might be linked to the dark ritual the killer had performed. They knew much work remained and that many dangers awaited. But Alex was determined not to give up. He would find a way to end the curse and free the trapped spirits of Dorm 13. Alex and Lisa kept researching the strange symbol. They found some ancient documents and books on dark rites in the school's old library. Everything led them to an ancient ceremony involving soul sacrifices used to prolong life and power. One night, as Alex returned to his room after studying late, he heard footsteps and scattered whispers. Sensing something wrong, he hid in a shadowed alcove to observe without being seen. Under the dull corridor lights, Alex saw a tall, dark figure wearing a grotesque mask. The killer. His heart thudded. Fear surged through him. But this was his chance to confront and learn more about the evil. Unfortunately, the killer spotted Alex. He turned. His eyes behind his mask glowed red like embers, seeming to pierce Alex's mind. Without hesitation, he lunged at Alex with the sharp blade. Alex spun and fled. Heavy footsteps thundered through the corridor as the chase began. Alex's breathing became ragged, but he couldn't stop or look back. He knew a single second's delay could cost him his life. Alex darted down an emergency stairwell, but slipped and tumbled down the steps. Pain and panic gripped him as the killer closed in. Alex could feel the killer's hot breath at his neck and heard a savage laugh echo in the narrow space. In a desperate moment, he spotted a door to a supply room. He threw it open, slipped inside, and bolted it shut. The killer pounded wildly on the door, but Alex knew it could not protect him forever. Blood seeped from his wounds, but he forced himself to remain calm. He grabbed an old wooden broom as a makeshift weapon, bracing for the worst. After some time, the pounding stopped, and an eerie silence fell. Alex listened, straining for any sound, but only the terrifying stillness remained. Carefully, he opened the door, slipped out, and ran straight to Lisa's room. He couldn't face the killer alone. Lisa was horrified at Alex's condition. He told him everything, the chase, the narrow escape, and his near death. Lisa bandaged his wounds, and they decided they needed a better plan. Alex knew he had been lucky, but also understood the killer wouldn't stop. He would continue his hunt, haunting Dorm 13. Alex had to find a way to stop him before it was too late. After recovering, Alex and Lisa dove deeper into the dorm's secrets. They searched the university library and uncovered a hidden, dark history. One afternoon, in a dusty corner of the library, Lisa discovered an old leather-bound notebook with a torn cover. Its yellowed pages detailed dark rituals, mysterious disappearances, and the names of many students who had lived in Dorm 13. Alex and Lisa realized the murders were not random. Further searching turned up another diary from a former student, which revealed the existence of a secret society on campus called the Night Society. This group performed dark rites, sacrificing students to gain power and immortality. The killer was not merely a deranged individual, he was part of the Night Society. He carried out sacrifices to maintain power and extend his life. The gruesome murders were part of the society's ceremony. They also discovered that the killer had once been a top student, but after joining the Night Society, he became consumed by dark rituals and turned into the thing that now haunted Dorm 13. Horror piled on. The Night Society still operated in the university, and other members might be hiding in the shadows. Alex and Lisa decided to expose the truth. They knew this was the only way to stop future murders and free Dorm 13 from its curse. They began planning to collect evidence and contact the police, but Alex worried the Night Society would learn of their investigation and silence them. The war between light and darkness seemed only to be beginning. With resolve and courage, Alex and Lisa prepared to face danger, to protect their friends, and expose the criminal organization hidden within the venerable university. They realized they couldn't do it alone. They needed trustworthy allies. They reached out to a group of dorm friends. Tom, an engineering student and a brilliant inventor. Sarah, a psychology student with deep knowledge of mental disorders. Mike, an athletics student with exceptional strength and agility. After sharing what they had uncovered, the friends agreed they needed a detailed, flawless plan to deal with the killer. Alex, Lisa, Tom, Sarah, and Mike gathered in a safe room to map out their strategy.
That night, Alex and Lisa put the plan into action. They set up props for a fake sacrifice ceremony in an abandoned dorm room. Eerie music and dim lighting created a spooky atmosphere meant to entice the killer. At midnight, heavy footsteps echoed down the empty corridor. The killer appeared, lured by the staged ritual. Alex and Lisa hid in the dark, breath held. As the killer approached, they slowly retreated, leading him into the trap room. When he stepped inside, Tom and Mike sprang the device. Chains and rigid mechanisms shot out, pinning the killer immobile. He snarled and thrashed, but could not escape their perfectly made trap. Alex stepped forward, determined and fearless. "At last we've got you," he said in a cold voice. The killer laughed wildly. His eyes flashed with malicious light. "You think you can stop me? I'm only a part of a larger darkness you'll never understand," he spat. The friends refused to be shaken. They were ready to move to the next phase, to confront the remaining mysteries and dangers of Dorm 13. Though trapped, the killer's capture was not the end. The final battle. As the killer struggled, he suddenly laughed loudly, the sound echoing in the room. "You think this trap can hold me?" he cried. "You are so naive." A black smoke poured from his body, extinguishing lights and creating a thick fog that plunged the room into darkness. He broke the trap and lunged at Alex and his friends. Mike leapt to restrain him, but was thrown aside, slamming into the wall and losing consciousness. Sarah tried to use her psychological knowledge to reason with him, but the killer wouldn't respond. Tom was gravely injured while trying to protect Alex. Soon, only Alex and Lisa remained standing. Alex looked around at his fallen friends, his heart filled with rage and resolve. "You will never win," he declared, voice steady. Lisa stepped forward, knowing she might not survive. "Alex, remember why we fight. We must end this for those who have died and for those who still live," she said. She charged,
using her remaining strength to attack the killer and give Alex an opening. Alex looked at Lisa with gratitude and determination. He knew this was their last chance. Victory. Summoning every ounce of courage, Alex lunged forward with a knife he had found in the library, the same type used by the killer in the past. He plunged it into the killer's heart. The killer screamed. His body began to dissolve into black smoke, fragmenting and dispersing into the air. Alex stood watching the killer vanish, feeling the weight of the evil lift a little. When the chaos subsided, Alex knelt beside Lisa, who lay dying. "We did it," he whispered, tears streaking down his face. Lisa smiled weakly. "Live well, Alex, for all of us," she breathed before her final breath. Alex held her hand, feeling both loss and relief. He knew they had fought and won. Dorm 13 had been freed from darkness, and the killer had been defeated. The screams and gruesome scenes gradually faded. Alex sat among the friends who had sacrificed everything, his heart heavy with grief.
Aftermath. The next day, the police arrived and began a thorough cleansing of the dorm. Bloodstains and traces of the night's horror were scrubbed away. Investigators collected remaining evidence and confirmed the killer had indeed been destroyed. Alex and the survivors faced the lingering trauma of those events. Every night he still heard screams in his dreams and felt the residue of fear. Nightmares about the masked killer haunted him, but he took solace in knowing they had done what needed to be done and had saved others from the killer's cruelty. A final message. Having saved people from the killer's evil, Alex and his friends learned valuable lessons about courage, friendship, and sacrifice. They realized that even in the deepest darkness, there is a light of hope and resilience. When Dorm 13 was purged, it wasn't only the blood and traces of the killer that were removed, it was the cleansing of fear and shadow. New students would come, bringing with them hope and a brighter future. Alex stood at the dorm gate and looked up at the clear blue sky. He closed his eyes and thought, "We did it. For those who sacrificed, we will continue to live and fight. Goodness and courage will always triumph over evil." The story ends on a note of moral clarity, that despite the deepest shadows, people can still find light and hope.
And that concludes today's story. We wish you a relaxing time and a productive day ahead. If you enjoyed the story, please support us by hitting the subscribe button and leaving a like, so you won't miss any of the upcoming tales from Nosleep Radio. See you again